Hey guys, welcome to my Chelsea versus Everton match preview or Everton versus Chelsea match preview for tomorrow's Premier League game played at Goodison Park and Everton in the city of Liverpool uh, at 8 a.m. And it's a massive game. It's a massive game. We're playing against arguably, alongside John Terry, our biggest player of all time, and Frank Lampard, our best left back of all time, top 5 best players of all time we had in our history, and Ashley Cole. But Everton are in a mess. Everton are in a mess. If Everton lose today or tomorrow, basically, they will be really in trouble of getting relegated. And we don't want that, do we now? We don't want that for Frank Lampard. We don't want that for Ashley Cole. And we don't want that for long-term Chelsea coach who's now at Everton, Joe Edwards. We don't want that. We have nothing to play for. Everton have everything in their history to play for. Frank Lampard has everything in his managerial career to play for. If Everton get relegated, I can't see Frank Lampard managing in the Premier League again. And this is really sad to hear and see. So for me, look, I always want Chelsea to win, always Chelsea to win, always. Is tomorrow's an exception? If we are really comfortable in third, we won't go higher, probably won't finish lower. Will we take a loss tomorrow if it means Everton will stay in the league? This is a question that I'm going to ask you. For me, look, I don't want Chelsea to lose because that'll ruin half my day. And I'm going to be so tired. I'm probably going to sleep like 2 hours if I do sleep. And if Chelsea don't win, it's going to bug me for a bit until I sleep again after the game. But this is a huge for Everton. It's literally the game for us is not much. The game for Everton is everything. It's probably the last few games of the season is their biggest games in their history. Everton are a massive club. They're a massive club. The seventh biggest club in England. If they get relegated, if they get to Division 2, this will be, especially the amount of money Everton spent. Everton in 2019 were like, we want to try and challenge for the top 4. 2022, they're going to be challenging in the championship. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Even if they don't get relegated as a club for Everton, it's so embarrassing to be where they are. They should be nowhere near relegation. And in fact, to be in relegation, deep inside relegation. Burnley won today. So Everton have to win. If Everton win, they will stay in the bottom 3, but they do have a game in hand. And then if they win that game in hand, they will get out of the bottom 3. But this is huge for Everton. The atmosphere is going to be crazy because, see, if we score early, we will win the game. Because if we score early, Everton fans are going to go crazy on the players. If they score, I don't see a way back. That's the thing. If they score first, we'll lose. If we score first, we'll win. Because if they score first, all Everton fans are going to be backing them and creating a very unpleasant atmosphere for Chelsea. Great atmosphere, don't get me wrong. Great atmosphere. But a tough one for us because then we'll have to fight against the players and the fans, which is not easy, especially at Goodison Park, one of the most historic stadiums in English football. My predicted lineup for Chelsea against Everton would be goalkeeper Edouard Mendy, 3 at the back Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger, Antonio Rudiger's the last few games as Chelsea player. And I would play Cesar Azpilicueta. I don't want Christensen. You guys know I don't like Christensen. I really don't. The two in midfield of Jorginho and then N'Golo Kante. Left wing back, Marcos Alonso. We have no choice. Chile, Ben Chilwell is still injured. He will stay injured until the beginning of next season. So we won't see Chile for probably till August. Right wing back, Reece James. Our best player against Manchester United by a country mile. It's a shame we didn't lose and he didn't win the man of the match. Front three. This is tough because Werner pissed me off. And I don't just want to be too easy on a player and just give him another chance as easy as that. And the thing with Havertz is, Havertz can have bad games because he literally scored the Champions League goal. The Champions League final. 1-0. We won 1-0. He scored the goal. We're European champions because of him. So Havertz I will always forgive. But for a player like Werner, who is really poor at Chelsea so far, last few games he played well. He played well against Southampton. He played well against Real Madrid. He played well against Arsenal. And then he was awful, absolutely awful against Manchester United. He is big reason why we didn't win the game with his missed chances. Do I want to see Werner starting? No. So my front three would be Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic. I would start Christian Pulisic. If you think about it, how low has Lukaku dropped? How low has Lukaku dropped? For me not to think about starting Werner and then still Lukaku's not in my head, how low has he dropped? But that's the reality of the situation. My front three would be Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, and as a striker, Kai Havertz. Look, Everton have some good players. Richarlison plays for Brazil. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, although I don't think he will be fit. He's a good striker. Demarai Gray is on and off. He can have a bad game and he can have a good game and he can have a bad game. Jordan Pickford, England's #1 goalkeeper. But they have some poor players. Their defense, Everton's defense, is why Everton are close to getting relegated. This Everton defense will struggle in the Championship. I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. This Everton defense will struggle in the Championship. They're poor defensive team. Very poor defensive team. And see, I wanted to say I can see us scoring a couple of goals, but this is Chelsea. We played against an awful United defense on Thursday and we still fucked up. We still missed so many chances. We have to score. Look, whether I want to win tomorrow or I would, which I'd never say that, but if I want to win tomorrow or I want to give 3 points for Frank to save his job is another thing. But a big problem, if we are to win, I don't want to. I don't mind not winning, but I don't want to see those missed chances again. I don't want us to be just missing chances all over the place. If we don't win, I want to see Everton defend really well. Everton need to fight for it. I'm saying I don't mind, but Everton need to fight for it. I love Frank. I adore this guy. But I'm not just going to give it to him. He needs to come here and fight for it and get it. Let's hope he does. Let's hope he's a good manager. But He's facing a team who misses chance after chance. But at the same time, he's facing a manager in Thomas Tuchel who's world class. I feel for him. I feel for him. He's our top scorer of all time. He's scored the most goals in a in Chelsea history. Like, he's the most player who scored the most goals in Chelsea history. He's the third most player who has the most appearances in Chelsea history. He became our manager in 2019. First year, we finished in the top 4. We reached the FA Cup final, but we lost to Arsenal. And I've always said, this is perfect time to say it on video, but I've always said Frank Lampard's best job at Chelsea as Chelsea manager was bringing in the players like Mason Mount. Frank Lampard is the reason why Mason Mount plays for Chelsea, starts for Chelsea. Frank Lampard is the reason why Reece James starts for Chelsea. Frank Lampard is the reason why that's basically it. No, but those two players are oh, no, that's not it. Frank Lampard, no, forget about youth for a bit. Frank Lampard signed us Edouard Mendy. He signed Thiago Silva. He signed Chilwell. He signed Werner. He signed Havertz. He was our manager. This was tough. Beginning of the last season, he was our manager. January 25, we were 9th in the league. He got sacked. And this was a tough moment, and I have posted it on Instagram. I'm like, best of luck for Frank. Best of luck. I hope to see you back one day when you're ready. And then, Thomas Tuchel comes in as Chelsea manager on January 27, and the rest, as they say, is history. We win the Champions League. Great time. But I just wish the best for Frank. I just wish him the best. And it's even harder because Ashley Cole is there too. I don't want to... See, if you tell me right now Frank Lampard will stay as Everton manager even if they get relegated, I would want to win. Because then Frank Lampard has to do it in the Championship. And if he doesn't do it in the Championship, then he's simply not good enough as a manager. That's the reality. I'm being honest here. But if he gets sacked because Everton get relegated, this will hurt, because Everton were in big trouble before he became the manager. Rafa Benitez started all that. And this is probably the worst mistake Everton have ever made in their entire history. Let's go back. I was in, where was that? Muskoka. And I read Carlo Ancelotti has left for Real Madrid. He's left Everton. I'm like, okay, cool, let's see what they're going to get manager. A few weeks later, Rafael Benitez was appointed as Everton manager. This Rafael Benitez, remember, is a Liverpool legend. He won the Champions League with Liverpool. And Everton and Liverpool hate each other. For Everton to appoint him being a mess, he got Everton relegated. It's funny. What do you expect? It's like me becoming Tottenham manager and then getting them relegated. Like, what is going on? I don't want to blame him because it's not his fault he was appointed as manager. It's the board. Everton have an awful board. They have an awful owner. They have an awful, awful like secretaries and all that. I don't know what you call it, like chairman and Bill Kenwright is how is he? How is Bill Kenwright still as Everton chairman? Yeah, they're a mess of a football club. Look, if they get relegated, they get relegated fair and square. I still believe those players are better than the Burnley team, are better than Leeds. But actually playing football this season, every single one of them's been absolutely awful. It's been absolutely awful. They signed Donny van de Beek in January. He's barely played for them and he's been injured. They signed Dele Alli in January. He's always on the bench, he barely starts. They signed Anwar El Ghazi. He never plays. And the biggest, worst thing of it all, one of the best players, Luca Digne, left because he had an argument with Rafa Benitez. And then a week later, Rafa Benitez was sacked. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, really? They're a mess. They're a mess. And it's hard for Frank because Frank doesn't have... See, I wanted Frank to become Everton manager. I'm not going to lie. I wanted him because Everton... Not this shithole of Everton this season. But Everton as a club, they're, they're great. Everton are a great club to be in the middle, not too much pressure, not the biggest clubs in the world, just below a bit. Develop there. This is for me why I wanted Frank to be Everton manager, because I've always said I want Frank back as Chelsea manager one day. But I need to go and get that experience. And it's not working out. It's not working out. See, it's been 17 minutes. My videos are barely like 5 minutes, but there's a lot to talk about Everton. I feel for their fans. I've always liked the club. That's the thing. I've always liked the club. I remember those tough games. See, Everton back in the day, like in 2017, 2018, you go to Everton, you expect a tough game. You expect a team that will fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. And the only way you can beat them is if your quality shines through, because Chelsea always have better players than Everton. But we lost some heavy games against Everton. I remember that game in 2015. We beat them 6-3. What a game that was. At Goodison Park, Diego Costa hat-trick. Yeah. Everton have never been relegated in their life before. In my entire lifetime, Everton have always been in the Premier League. Not a lot of teams can say that. Forget about the top 6. Not a lot of teams. The only 5 clubs to never be relegated from the Premier League, from the English's top tier, from English's first division, are Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal. No, not even 5. I'm not even sure. It's Manchester United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Everton. Those 4 clubs are the only clubs that have never been relegated in their entire history, and have always been in English's top tier. Now to see Everton getting relegated? Seriously? What a mess of a club. What a mess of a club. Anyways, guys, do I want to... See, that's the thing. Before I close, that's the thing. If you ask me, do I want to see Everton get relegated? No. Do they deserve to get relegated? Yes, because they've made some awful decisions. I'll see you guys tomorrow.